The long-awaited return for DeMar DeRozan has arrived. This is Season 2, Episode 7 of the TO Sports Talk podcast. I'm your host, James Price, along with Evan Brown. And as I just said, DeMar DeRozan's return to Toronto, obviously since the trade went down, that's where everyone looked. When is he coming back to TO? Tomorrow night.
And when are we coming back to the podcast? We were off last week. Yeah. We're back, so long return for DeMar DeRozan and for us. They're playing tonight or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Do you think that they're going to be boos? Maybe.
There might be a few. I think it's more or less going to be cheers, though, because him and Kyle Lowry did put the franchise on the map in Toronto and Canada. Really?
More.
I wouldn't say Vince. Look, Carter was great in the time, but then that huge lull in between that, it lost a lot of Raptors fans.
Well, if you want to get technical, the real person that put Toronto Raptors on the map was Drake. He did. He was the ambassador. But player-wise, I agree with you. DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry, yes. I don't think he's going to get booed. I hope he doesn't get booed. He wanted to be here. It's not like a certain somebody who just retired, Chris Bosh, wanted to leave Toronto. He didn't want to leave. DeRozan didn't want to leave. So hopefully we hear no boos.
The reason I think there's going to be some is the way he reacted to the trade. And I agree at the beginning when he was heated with it and the way he was talking about there's no need to have a relationship with Masai Ujiri and all that crazy stuff. I get those. But the part that I'm not getting and I'm not really understanding is, start of the season and midway through the season, we're still hearing quotes from DeMar DeRozan how he's still salty about the trade. Like, I get it. It was the way they handled it was terrible. But you got to be a professional.
And plus, it's a business, right? I could see maybe in the heat of the moment, sure, whatever. But it's 3-4 months after the trade's gone past. It just looks bad on you because you're with a pretty classy organization, and Pop doesn't stand for any of this crap that he's doing, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know if he's saying those things now. Probably not. Well, we haven't really heard anything about him saying whatever. I mean, he dropped, 40 points on the Raptors last time we faced them?
Yeah, and his averages, scoring-wise at least, has been down this year. He's only averaging 21 a game right now. He's averaging 6 assists and 6 rebounds, so that's like not those are probably up on his career numbers.
New team, but, new coach,
right?
And
going back to the way he kind of handled things, a great example is Kyle Lowry. Like in the moment, you saw at the U.S. camp, he was angry. It's my brother, I have no comment on this. You clearly see he was angry, but when he stepped on the court, in training camp. And all that stuff, talking to the media about the DeRozan trade, he was 100% professional. It's a business.
Yeah.
It's my brother. Sucks to see him go, but I play for this team.
It's a business.
And the way Kyle Lowry handled it is what you expect. Be angry in the moment, but then when it comes to legit crunch time, actual game time, you put it behind you and you play the game you love. DeRozan, now I'm not saying he didn't do that, but it seems like he's taking a lot more taking it a lot more to heart, I guess.
But, okay, let's just say that Kyle Lowry was traded instead of DeRozan. Would he act the same way as DeRozan? Kyle Lowry wasn't traded, so it's easier for him to get over it quicker, right? Than DeRozan. But I agree with you. I think that he should have got over it a little quicker. But hopefully a Raptors win. Hopefully Kawhi. I mean, we didn't see much of... He played the last time we faced the Spurs, right?
Yeah, he didn't have a great game, and the Raptors really didn't have a good start at all. They were down by 18 after the first quarter. I mean, it was a horrendous game. Yeah. And as you said off the top, DeRozan had a great game that night. And I don't think he had 40, but he had something, in the vicinity of that.
I think he had a triple-double or something like that.
His first career triple-double was against the Raptors, which makes it even more hard to watch. But I think it's going to be different here in Toronto. I think it's going to be an emotional time there tomorrow night at Scotiabank Arena, obviously with the DeRozan return. And you can throw in Jakob Poeltl as well, because why not? He's making his return as well. But you want to see the Raptors come out of the gate flying. And it seems like Toronto teams don't. We've known the Leafs, they don't come out of the gate flying.
We're going to get into that in the Leafs segment.
Yeah. The Raptors, they've been slow coming out of the gate. And they've had a lot of games where they've had to try and come back from double-digit leads. And look, it's great when you can do it. And the Raptors do have the team to do so. But when it comes to playoff time and you're playing better teams, you can't put yourself in a 20-point hold.
No, you can't, because... sometimes the team, doesn't, falters, right, under the pressure. You don't want to get a team into that position, and Nick Nurse has to work on that with his team. I don't know, I'm still a little bit iffy on Nick Nurse. I think he's a great coach, but we haven't seen him in the playoffs at all.
Right.
So let's go back. Oh no, I want to keep going on this topic.
Yeah, the reason why I'm kind of impressed with Nick Nurse now, there's some in-game calls that I'm like, I'm not sure if I agree with that from Nick, but I mean, that's everybody. Yeah. Not everybody's going to agree with everything the coach does.
A majority of it you do agree with, like I do.
Yeah, because you got to think about what's happened. The Raptors have had one game this entire year with their healthy rotation, the full healthy, and it was game 1 of the season. I mean,
so ever since then, someone's been injured?
Well, yeah, JV's been injured since, my birthday on December the 12th.
Fred VanVleet?
Right. VanVleet's now out 3 weeks.
Wasn't Siakam out a little bit, too?
Yeah, no, but you had Kawhi Leonard sitting out once in a while, right? Again, guys have been sitting out for rest, right? And it's like they had one game the entire year with a full lineup, and he still found a way to put things together and put your team at 43-16.
But
now, it's a lot to do with the talent, of course, but...
Yeah, but... Some of those things have to do with Nick Nurse resting Kawhi. Like, let's just say that we have a full healthy lineup, but he rests Kawhi. Okay, technically you're not going to have your full rotation because Kawhi's rested. So with that, it's on him for doing that.
Agreed.
And there's some times where Nick Nurse rests Kawhi Leonard, sometimes, I don't know, Serge. And I don't agree with that at all because, okay, Kawhi Leonard has rested, 3 out of the 4 games. Like, come on, you know what I mean?
Well, I think now that we're post-All-Star break, I think we might see... I mean, the Raptors don't have many back-to-backs left. I don't think.
I wouldn't surprise me if he does rest Kawhi Leonard. A little less, but still rests him.
And, I used to be salty about the whole back-to-back thing, but then I realized, why does he need to play the back-to-backs?
Well,
I understand you want to see him out there as much as you can to build a chemistry with the team, but in the playoffs, there's never a back-to-back.
No.
Never.
But you can argue that even if you have one day off in between, it's still like a back-to-back. Because it's a playoff game, and I would think that 5 regular season games equals 2 playoff games. Let's just say that because the intensity is so much higher in the playoffs, right? So it's like playing a back-to-back game. And who knows? Maybe if, let's just say, game 1 goes into double overtime, sure you have one day off, but is that really a nice rest? No. And then you play the next day.
Right, and it's better than playing the back-to-back, though. I mean, I understand, like, there's a whole day off, right, of not playing.
Yes and no, but teams play that much harder, so I think you got to get Kawhi into...
It wouldn't surprise me if down the stretch they'll fire him in a couple. It would not surprise me because now that you're... I mean, look, it all depends on his health because before the All-Star break, he sat out the last game against the Wizards with a little bit of a knee issue. Now, we saw that lingering in the game prior. And I said it in my video. And I said it on Twitter. I did not want him to play in that Wizards game because really, what was the point?
Well, that's different. If you see a lingering injury, don't play him. But it seems like Kawhi Leonard's healthy most of the time. He's being rested, and I don't agree. Some of the times it's okay, right? But most of the time, if he's healthy, this may be the first and last time we ever get a player of this caliber, right? So I'm not saying ever, but in the next 3 or 4 years, maybe even 5, if he does leave, so play him, right?
Speaking of amazing caliber players,
Jeremy Lin.
Can we please talk about Pascal Siakam?
Oh yeah.
This guy.
I love how I said Jeremy Lin.
Yeah, I mean,
without
Kawhi in the lineup against the Wizards to end off the first half of the year, he fires up 44. And he does it with ease. If you look at the percentage of that shot, he was definitely over 50%. He might have even 60% from the field. He was like 3 of 4 from 3. I mean, the guy has been incredible. Yeah. Now we're talking most improved player, and I think there's no question about it. He should be that.
Yeah.
But then you think to yourself, Pascal Siakam has only played basketball for 10 years.
He was a raw player when he was drafted, but
you think about it. What is the ceiling for this guy?
Yeah, he's only in his sophomore year. I know. Yes.
He played...
Yeah. His rookie year was because we drafted him in 2017. 16.
Right. So he was kind of like up and down from the G League a couple of years ago. Won the G League MVP, and then last year had the bench minutes and looked okay, but wasn't anything crazy.
Kind of struggled, but now we're really seeing Pascal Siakam. And I think that all Raptor fans should not put this guy into trade conversations at all.
You see what... And you look at that game against the Wizards... And I know OG Anunoby has been all over the place when it comes to consistency.
Yeah.
But in that game against the Wizards, that was one of the, if not the best games that I have seen OG play. He fires up 22. He shoots a great percentage. He gives you hard defense on the defensive end. And he was incredible. He was awesome. He's not averaging great. He's not shooting the ball great. But
he's getting somewhat starting minutes. And he's young, right?
Right.
But I think that these are growing pains for him, but Nick Nurse is still throwing him out there.
And
if you don't give young players time to play, they're not going to succeed. We're giving OG time to play, right? And obviously he's struggling, but there's times where he can put up 22 points. He can put up 18 points. He hasn't looked good this year, but these are growing pains. Same thing like Pascal last year. Didn't look great. He looked okay. Put up maybe once in every 6 games, put up 22 points. All right, that's okay, but usually he was around the 6 or 7 points per game mark. But now this year, we're seeing he's a superstar. Well, I wouldn't say a superstar, but definitely an all-star.
Yeah, he should have been an all-star.
Should have been an all-star, but I think we can see OG Anunoby next year really fly.
And I think with that game against the Wizards, I'm not saying that those are coming out parties for both guys, because obviously Siakam's already here and OG has been kind of hit or miss, but
it's coming up to be.
I think that game against the Wizards was Masai sitting back in his chair and going, hey, everybody, that's why we didn't trade these guys. You look, Anthony Davis is great, but they wanted Siakam. I don't want that.
No.
Look, yes, Anthony Davis is Anthony Davis, but like I've said before, what is the ceiling for Pascal Siakam? Last year he was averaging, 6 points a game? He wasn't anything spectacular. You saw that he could run the floor, but there wasn't really much else. He couldn't shoot the 3. He looked rough. This year he's been shooting the 3. He's been defending the ball well, and he's been playing at an unbelievable rate. What is he averaging? He's averaging over 16 a game, isn't he?
Yeah, he has a 16.1.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and that being said, with JV, obviously the trade happened live on the pod 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
I'm a little bit concerned because he's looked good with the Grizzlies, and I think that's a player where, yes, he was 25 years old. Yes, he showed spurts of improvement, right? Every year he gotten better, and I'm a bit nervous that maybe he can become something that we didn't see him on the Raptors to be. Like, I wouldn't say an all-star, but someone that can put up 16, 17 points a game, maybe. But the guy we got back, Marc Gasol, looks great.
You saw him in the what game was
first
this?
game of the year.
Second. Was it against Brooklyn where he put up 16? Yeah, that was ridiculous. The no-look pass to Patrick McCaw, who was actually really, really good in that game.
Who did we get him for? I
think we just picked him up. I don't think we traded for him. We just picked him up off waivers or whatever it was. But watching the no-look pass, watching him drain a 3, watching him take over the fourth quarter, a big man of his caliber, it's incredible. It's absolutely, and look,
he's been doing this for years though.
Exactly. Even in that game against the Wizards, where he didn't shoot the ball well, he only shot 2 of 7, and he didn't get a 3. He only got 7.7 boards. Didn't really do anything too crazy, but he gave you 2 blocks and 2 steals as well. He gives you that defensive edge that I think Jonas Valanciunas didn't really have.
No, he didn't. And as a complete player, you got to give it to Marc Gasol, obviously, right now. But I'm just saying we don't know what we really had in JV.
No, in JV, in his he had a great first game, double 23 and 10. But in the second game, he only had 12 points and 7 boards. He did have 5 assists, but and he did shoot 6.
10 rebounds, 7 rebounds.
He did shoot 6 of 14 in that last game too. So look, you know what Jonas Valanciunas is, and he's not a guy.
Do you?
Look, he's a guy he's a great post player. He's always been, but he's a guy who has a terrible time guarding the 5 from 3, and that's what the NBA is now. Guys who can shoot the 3 that are big, and JV isn't that, and he can't really guard the 3 either. That's a problem.
Yeah, that is a problem, but it's something he has to work on. I don't know. I love what we got in Marc Gasol, but I felt like we gave up on JV, but I understand we would have to give him up for Marc Gasol, and I'm fine with the trade. DeLon Wright hasn't looked anything special, obviously. CJ Miles, but
he's been actually pretty good for them, CJ, in the couple games he's played, I think.
Oh, they have Bruno.
Yeah. Is it the Toronto Grizzlies, or what's going on there? Like, they have 4 ex-Raptors on their team.
But we've seen this. CJ Miles has to be the most streakiest player in the league.
12 points, 10 points, and 13 points in his 3 games.
Don't worry, Grizzly fans. Just wait. Next game, he'll play 24 minutes, 0 points.
It wouldn't surprise me if he does well, though, because he's in no-pressure situations. The Grizzlies suck. They're in no pressure situations. It would not surprise me in the slightest if he
his contract's up this year or next year.
Either way,
he's looking for somewhat of a pay rate. I have no idea. But let's go back to trading, and we didn't trade for this person, but quite surprised when I seen that Jeremy Lin is a Toronto Raptor. A little late on the Linsanity, but in his first game looked pretty good.
Look, with the Raptors trading away 3 guys in the Gasol trade, with them letting Malachi Richardson go, with them trading Greg Monroe as well.
Oh, right.
That's 5 guys, and you bring in 1. The roster was down to 9 guys.
I wonder why it was...
Or 10 guys, but Kawhi was sitting.
It was confusing why we traded Greg Monroe for a second. Or no, we traded him for a second.
I think it was, yeah.
And
a second.
Because,
for cash or something.
Because he was backing up the center, so he was backing up, JV? Or no, he was starting for JV when he was injured.
The thing with Greg Monroe, I mean, with the 2 centers you have now, I mean, what playing time is he going to see? Right.
Well, we thought that he would start. He wouldn't start, but he would back up Marc Gasol. Who's backing up Marc Gasol now? Is it going to be Serge?
It might be Chris Boucher. What do you mean?
Backing up on the bench, like on the bench.
Yeah, it'd be those 2 going at it. I think.
Chris Boucher?
He'd probably be your 3rd option.
I would like Greg Monroe. I'm not gonna lie over Chris Boucher, but it's really not the end of the world. And we gave up a second to get rid of Malachi Richardson.
Yeah,
I think
it was
that was confusing.
I was really confused with that. But look, what I was trying to get at is you let a lot of roster guys go. So what does that mean? You got to add roster players. You got to bring guys in. Now the first one to come was Jeremy Lin. And in his first game, check how he did in the first game. Look, he didn't shoot the ball great. He didn't have anything that's going to pop your eyes open. But he had a steady line of 7 points, 5 boards, 5 dimes.
And that's what you want. And he could be a sharpshooter too.
Yeah. Again, he struggled, like I said, shooting the ball in that game. But he did give you 8 points, 5 boards, and 5 assists. I think he shot 3 of 7 or something. So nothing crazy. But again, he went out there and he did what he did.
He did his job. And like you said, he could be the Raptors sharpshooter that he needed, because I know his days on New York were something special. What was that, maybe 6-7 years ago?
Something like that.
He was great. He was a sharpshooting type of guy, even on the Rockets. So if he can bring back a little bit of that form, I'm happy with it. The second guy I thought we signed, I was talking to you in the car. We did sign Ben McLemore, but it fell through or something.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. It was a 10-day contract, but it did fall through. I don't know what the deal is on that. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing him in, because in a very short time he did shoot over 40% from 3, which
it's weird because it couldn't have to be money issues, because it's a 10-day contract. Whatever, he's going to take it. I think it had to be with roster issues, or maybe they were trying to send him to the G League.
I don't know how it all fell through. I'm gonna try and find it here.
I have no idea. And then the other guy we just signed yesterday to a 10-day contract was Jody Meeks, someone who played on the Lakers, the Pistons. He was good. Wizards, sharp shooting guy again. He's definitely not gonna get a lot of playing time, but someone who can shoot the 3, right? Someone who in his career had a 30-odd something 3-point shooting percentage.
37% for his career.
That's good. It's not great, but it's something.
He is older now, so I mean that could.
Well, he's 32,
something like that. But he hasn't played this year. Because I mean, I don't know if you really look at that.
It's someone you can throw in. If it's always good to have these players. That's why I'm shocked Ben McLemore didn't go through it all.
Yeah, I'm trying.
You could just Google it.
Yeah, whatever. Where's the fun in that?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, they bring in. So, okay, actually, things we could talk about. They bring back Malcolm Miller, guy the Raptors had last year. Again, the guy who was coming in the garbage minutes and playing for the 905. They bring him back. I think it was either on a 10-day contract or a 2-way deal or whatever it was. And they signed Boucher. I think it was to a 2-year NBA contract.
So they see something in this guy.
They really do.
Go to his stats.
Well, I mean, he's nothing spectacular. Obviously, like I said, playing in the garbage minutes, you're not really going to get.
But again, you wonder why Masai would trade away Greg Monroe for this guy.
He shoots 40% from 3 and is very limited minutes, only 5 minutes a game, right? He's not going to get much.
I guess they wanted a guy that can shoot a 3,
and he takes threes. Like this guy reminds me of Terrence Ross as a big man. He's a catch and shoot 3 guy, a big man. Well, it's very weird. It's very weird. And obviously, he's a Canadian guy as well. So
maybe you can throw teams off by sending him out and then him just shooting threes and all the, because I don't think anyone's going to really guard him up close if he's by the 3-point line.
I don't think so.
Right.
But I mean, you never know what's going to happen. But I think with the Raptors, I think a guy like Ben McLemore might not be a bad idea.
It's not going to happen. No, exactly. No, but I was quite shocked when we did technically sign him, but didn't. But I think right now, like I said, trading out. How many guys did we trade out? CJ Miles, 5, and that's including the guys we got back.
No, you traded away 5. We traded away Greg Monroe, Malachi Richardson, and then the 3 guys in the Gasol trade.
Okay, so we got Gasol, Lynn,
Jody Meeks.
You
got Malcolm Miller back.
Malcolm Miller. Chris Boucher was already on the roster, so maybe one more guy.
Yeah, who knows?
Ben McLemore would have been great, but obviously that did not happen. Let's go around the league. Or do you want to keep talking about Raptors?
Yeah, well, I guess this is really around the league. Can the All-Star break not be so damn long? Like, my God.
Well, it was
the All-Star game was last weekend, and the first games are Thursday.
Yeah. Well, same thing like hockey.
It's not as long, though. The Leafs were off for 5 days total, including the All-Star break.
Really?
I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, because like.
But no. But I think the Leafs have a bye week. Because I think every NHL team has a 1 week where they just don't play at all.
Right, and that was that week. They had 8 days off or whatever it was.
So there you go.
But
so
teams were back, like, a few
but the
days
NBA
after
doesn't
the
have
break.
a bye week. So that's why I guess they're giving players rest. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think they should scrap All-Star Weekend. But I think they should change it up. Like, should they go back to East versus West again? I think that was pretty cool.
Well, no, it's not even that. Because, like, you have the All-Star Weekend, which is great, last weekend, all that great stuff. Didn't really watch any of it because it's kind of pointless.
Oh, yeah, and then you have the game.
Right, on the Sunday.
Yeah.
But then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Nothing.
Why can't they just conjoin in the game with the skills? Well, not conjoin, but have it in the same weekend.
They did.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, I think the Rising Stars was Friday. Then skills comp, 3-point contest, dunk contest, all that stuff was on the Saturday, and the game was on the Sunday.
Yeah. I like the dunk contest though. I like that, and nobody actually won it. I don't even know who the guy that won it, but he's on OKC, and he's really a nobody. But hey, he was great. He pulled out the Vince Carter. He jumped over Shaq and did the arm in the.
And then had the Superman.
That was cool. I like
underneath.
that. I like that. Obviously, shouting out Dwight Howard there. But yeah, I think they got to change up something.
And shout out to Danny Green for being in the 3-point contest, and not 2.5 bad. Knocked down like 23 or 24.
Who won that?
Joe Harris on the Brooklyn Nets, and the Raptors. Well, Raptor fans know him very well because in that Raptor game versus the Nets, he went like 5 of 6 from 3 to start the game. So,
I'm surprised Steph didn't win it. I know, but
Steph lost to him.
Yeah, but Steph went on I think this was the last rack. He scored all 5.
Yeah,
I know.
He didn't get it done before.
Yeah, but even with hockey, it's getting a bit old, and I think they said that this was the lowest TV attendance since like 2009 for the All-Star Weekend, right? So I think the celebrity game's pretty cool. The skills competition's a bit The one thing about the skills competition I watch is the dunk comp. But what the passing and all that, no thank you. And obviously the All-Star games.
Now, I just got here 40 minutes ago that the J.R. Smith, look, I mean, the Cavs are not close to buying him out, but J.R. Smith's the guy who can spot up a 3. Now, consistently, no. Consistency is not his thing. And attitude and brains isn't really there. You saw that in the playoffs last year. And clock management.
But even if the Bucks do try to sign him, I mean, really, he's going to be playing sparingly. So
right, exactly.
It doesn't really. I mean, are you obviously you're not shocked that Anthony Davis is still a Pelican?
No.
Yeah, I mean,
that's too big of a trade for a trade deadline deal. That's something at the draft or.
And actually, they're actually considering sitting AD and taking the big fine, New Orleans, because that's smart. Let's just say that you play AD for the rest of the year now. If he gets injured, his trade value is going to plummet.
Right. And a big thing, actually, is Joel Embiid out a week with knee soreness. Now, the really interesting thing is he came out with that not too long ago, and it revealed structural damage in his knee.
Oh.
And
wasn't that what the injury he was out with for the first 2 years of his career?
It was something like that, yeah.
It was like a microfracture. Oh.
So Brett Brown, the coach, actually, or is it Brett Brown? I think it is. Added that he doesn't believe Embiid's participation in the All-Star game worsened the injury. So that tells me that he went to the All-Star game injured.
That's unbelievable.
That is not smart.
But yeah, but you wouldn't have to play. You just say I'm injured.
Right, but the fact that he played.
Yeah, but that's on him.
Well, I know, that's what I'm saying. He's not thinking about his Philadelphia 76ers teammates and that team, period.
Because was this his first All-Star game? No, he was last year.
He must have been.
Because he wasn't injured last year, right?
Right.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about Zion Williamson's
Williamson
injury? I don't know if you guys watched that video. That's crazy how he was trying to cross this dude out, and then when he was going to one side, the shoe blew on him.
Yeah.
And he did the splits or something, so prayers out to him.
Looks like he rolled his ankle a little bit too. But,
yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to be out for long, but it sucks for Duke because they lost that game against North Carolina.
Yeah, and that's obviously a big rivalry game, obviously.
That can hurt his draft stock, so maybe the Raptors could pick him up in the second round.
Get him in the second round pick, right? Because we don't have a first.
Well, actually, Stephen A. Smith recently said that he wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't go first overall. I think that's a bunch of baloney. Who else is really challenging him? R.J. Barrett?
No, I mean, come on. Zion Williamson's a freak of nature out there.
I wanted to see him in a New York Knicks uniform. That's just me.
It wouldn't surprise me if it happens. The Knicks are terrible.
Yeah, for a long time. You want to switch to the Leafs, or is there anything else you want to go through?
I think we can go right to hockey. I mean, we talked about a little bit of trade deadline for the Raptors. We talked about the team now. We talked about buyout candidates, all that great stuff. We can flip to hockey now, and the Toronto Maple Leafs have...
Hold on.
Sorry?
Okay, hold on. Now, this is the... Cough. Yep.
Oh, God. Okay.
Drink your water. This is the last podcast before the trade deadline hits on the 25th of February. That's on the Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, before we get into the games, the obvious concerns with the defense, and quite recently, and I noticed this too, and you did, a lot of analysts have been saying this, the Leafs need a big, tough guy that can score. They need some weight.
There's a guy that you're really interested in.
Yeah.
We already talked about this.
Yeah, we did. And obviously there's rumbles about Wayne Simmons, Michael Furland. Those are two guys with expiring deals. I know Wayne Simmons is. I'm pretty sure Furland is too. The guy now, you're going to have to pay an arm and a leg because this guy is having a career year. Chris Kreider almost has 30 goals this year, is a tough son of a you-know-what. Has played on the Rangers his entire career. He was a thorn in Carey Price's side for a long time.
Yep.
You're going to have to give up an extreme amount, but that's a guy I would feel much more comfortable going in the playoffs with rather than a Janssen or a Kapanen. 100%.
So, would you trade a guy like Janssen or Kapanen in this deal?
Yeah.
Is he a rental?
I don't know. I was just going to ask you that. Yeah, just going cap friendly there. But I think that's a guy. Now, I know that our first need is defense, right? A right-handed shot. We only have one right-handed shot on this team, and that's Zaitsev. That's our first need. Because even with Jake Muzzin, it's still not the greatest defense core, right? It showed in the last couple games.
So he has another year afterwards at $4.625 million per season.
I would be ecstatic if we got Chris Kreider. And look who would we be facing in the first round if it started.
The damn Bruins again.
If it started
on
tomorrow.
the road. Oh my God.
And the Boston Bruins just made a pretty blockbuster trade.
Bringing in Charlie Coyle.
Bringing in Charlie Coyle for Ryan Donato in a fifth. So pretty much nothing for a guy who's a 40, maybe 50-point guy. Right? He's a big center, and that's another guy where it's like, really, the Bruins?
Yeah. So just a little bit of Chris Kreider stuff. He's 6'3", 216. He's 27 years old. Like I already said, his contract's up after next season. And as you said, having a career year, he's got 24 goals. He's only 4 away from his career high. And he's got 44 points in 59 games, and he's a +7 on the not-so-good New York Rangers.
Because Dubas was at the Rangers-Carolina game, scouting defenseman players. Obviously on Carolina, you have Pesce, Furland, Slavin.
Justin Falk. I mean, I don't want Justin Falk, but he's probably looking at
Dougie
him.
Hamilton, right? And then on the Rangers, you have obviously Chris Kreider. I don't even know if there were reports that they were interested in Chris Kreider. I'm not just saying that as a player I think the Leafs should get. There was rumbles of that.
And obviously Matt Zuccarello and Kevin Hayes are both rental players, so those are guys you might want to look at as well. I'm just saying.
Dubas has said that he's not interested in rental players, so that kind of sits out. Brady Shea, maybe?
He's young, isn't he?
Young guy, not big.
I don't know if they'll
not physical, puck moving. He's not having a good year this year.
No, he had a great rookie year last year, but not good this year.
No. But that begs the question. I feel like we're going to be doing one more major move. I don't think we're going to now do both a defenseman and a forward. I could be wrong, but I think we're either going to get another top 4 defenseman or a top 6 forward that's tougher.
Like a Chris Kreider.
Like a Michael Furland. Yeah. Actually, probably not Michael Furland because his contract's up.
At the end of the year?
Yeah.
So there you go. But would you be surprised, though, if they don't make a move? I wouldn't be surprised.
I'd be surprised. Listen, it shows in these last couple of games that the defense core is still not good enough.
No, the problem has been this team can't score.
And they just saw that Boston just got better, and we want to keep up with Boston, so we have to make another move. Like that game against Arizona, I think we can both agree on that. Was not good at all.
Can we touch on the elephant in the room, if you will, for the Toronto Maple Leafs? The damn stretch pass. Look, it's beautiful when it works, but when it doesn't, it's either getting intercepted or it goes for icing.
So, and who's accountable for that? Mike Babcock.
Mike Babcock is a big factor of that. I don't know if he's just saying, hey guys, you're fast, use your speed.
I think he's just saying...
When this team uses their they get into the zone and they set up a little bit, both goals the Leafs had against the damn St. Louis Blues, there was no stretch pass involved.
Yeah. I've been telling it since day one. Mike Babcock has shitty starts. It's just how it is. And those stretch passes, they do not help one bit. When they work, great. When you make a stretch pass to Kapanen on a breakaway, he's probably going to score, great, but that doesn't happen that often.
No, it doesn't happen that often. Hey, can we please just get back to simple hockey? Small passes. Crisp tape-to-tape passes, and get into the zone, set up a little bit. Watching that Zach Hyman goal, I mean, was it greasy? Oh, yeah. But you know what led to it? John Tavares entering the zone, dropping the puck off to a defenseman, setting up, and then the play continues, and Zach Hyman scores.
Yeah.
It just happens that way.
And we have the forwards that can break into the zone without needing a defenseman to make a stretch pass to a guy who's, 20, 30 feet away. Like,
I'm not saying don't use the stretch pass.
Don't use it all the time.
Don't make it predictable.
Well, not even
Arizona just clogged up the neutral zone and the Leafs couldn't do squat.
Yeah. Don't use it in the first period. I mean, if you see, that's the thing. If you see an open guy, then obviously use it, but don't use it every single...
Well, I said in my video, I'm like, look, if you see a guy that's wide open, right, 10 feet in front of you, and he's got a little bit of a lane to go, or a guy that's way up there, the opposing team's blue line, but there's a guy draped all over him, who the heck are you passing to? The guy who's open, it can give you some space and get some wheels going. Not the guy that it's a 30% chance he'll get the puck.
And plus, at least do a dumping. I'd rather dump and chase than this.
Of course it is, because you give your team a chance to get the puck.
And plus, it's safer.
This is basically Hail Marys all the time.
It's Hail Mary, and then once they don't get it, it's icing, and then they win it, and then they could score.
Yeah.
And that's happened way too often for my liking.
And a team like the Boston Bruins, you cannot do that against. We've seen it all year long. The Bruins dominate the Leafs, except for one game, but the Leafs barely scratched that game out too. The Boston Bruins have one of the, if not the best face-off taker in the game. Yeah. You fire stretch passes, you get icings, you're giving Patrice Bergeron basically free cookies at an offensive zone face-off.
And plus, they still have Krejci. They still have, obviously Coyle now, and Backes, who all of them are really good face-off takers.
I'm not as worried about them, but the way I look at it is you ice the puck, Bergeron's on the ice, and who comes with them? Pasternak and Brad Marchand. Who dominates the Leafs on a game-to-game basis? Yeah. Those three guys. You want to limit their opportunities, so don't ice the damn puck.
And I think that's why we have to compete with the Bruins this year, because the
Bruins are the Pittsburgh Penguins of the Washington Capitals and the Rangers, really.
Yeah.
You can't beat them. You physically cannot, no matter what team you throw on the ice.
Well, last year, they saw that the Capitals beat them, and I think this year, if we add another heavy guy up front or another heavy guy on the back end, right, I would love that. And a name that I kept beating on the drum is Ratko Gudas.
Yep.
Just got suspended from that's
hit Kucherov in the head.
But if you think about it, that may lower his trade value a bit.
He's not playing in a couple games. There you go.
So,
the guy that I've always been high on, though, Brett Pesce, again, he's not going to give you the points. He's only got 15 points, but he's a plus 20 on the Carolina Hurricanes. But plus minus is a stupid stat anyways. He is, where is he here? 24 years old. He's 6'3".
And I know we just got locked up too.
Yeah. His contract is not bad at all. I'm going to try and find him here.
I'm pretty sure he's around Jake Gardner money or Zaitsev money. But a guy like Nikita Zaitsev, if you get a Brett Pesce, you're going to have to send Zaitsev the other way. At least retain something. Because if you add in a defenseman that... Oh, yeah.
So he's got a 6-year deal at $4 million period.
That's good.
Including this year. After this season, he's got 5 more years at $4 million. That is incredible.
So like I was saying, if you give... So let's just say that we acquire Brett Pesce, but you don't give up a defenseman. Yeah. Who's coming out of the lineup? You know, Mike Babcock isn't gonna want Zaitsev or Hainsey out of the lineup. He's gonna say, "Well, Dermott's the youngest; he's out," which I don't agree with whatsoever. No. Travis Dermott looks great. He has his blunders, yes, but his skating's unbelievable.
Would not surprise me though if they try and flip Zaitsev's contract.
I know. I agree.
Because for one, you're saving money on less term. With this contract, with Brett Pesce's deal, you're getting one less year.
Would you retain some of it? See, I don't know because Zaitsev is a useful defenseman if he's put in the right situation.
It depends if they want to attach a guy with it. Maybe I know I love this guy, but maybe a Trevor Moore or like a younger player that you know, to avoid having to retain salary or giving up any draft picks. I don't know. I don't know what they'll end up doing. Yeah. I really believe like a guy like Brett Pesce is what this team needs. A guy that can move the puck, but not like ridiculous.
He doesn't take stupid penalties like Radko Gudas. Who would you rather see go? I don't want any of these players to go. Janssen or Kasperi Kapanen. Both players have great upsides. Kapanen's extremely fast. If he's on a breakaway, 9 times out of 10 he's gonna score. But Janssen in his own end is really, really good as well.
He's great, and his first pass out of the zone is incredible. So
you're gonna have to give up one of those two guys. I mean, even they were talking about maybe Nazem Kadri, but I mean, with that contract, would you want to give up a center?
No. By the way, you were talking about Brett Pesce not taking penalties. He only has 16 penalty minutes this year.
It's good
in 51 games.
Another guy that the Leafs were scouting is the Ducks, Brandon Montour. Either him or you should put your phone on. Even him or who's that other guy again? Josh Manson.
Yeah,
both right-handed shots, both big guys, right? I mean, same type of deal, right?
Sorry, we're going way off topic here. I feel so bad for the Minnesota Wild. They just got shut out by the Anaheim Ducks. Anaheim is terrible.
Is that their first win?
They've won 2 in a row.
Oh, so another 3-7.
In the last 10.
Oh, yeah. Good for him.
But where are we here? Who are we looking at? Brian Gibbons, the man himself. You called him the mechanic. He does look like one, though. He really does.
He looks at some guy in a greasy shop.
Yeah,
they'll overcharge you for an oil change.
Where are we here? Josh Manson, there he is. He's got 11 points. Again, he's a -6 on a terrible team. 48 penalty minutes, a little bit more than before.
Can log a lot of minutes.
Yeah, and he is 27 years old, actually. He's a little bit older than I thought he was.
Yeah, me too.
But again, a guy that wouldn't be opposed to looking at. Brendan Montour, 25 points, -13 on a terrible team, obviously.
Either one of those guys, really.
And Brandon Montour is 24 years old, but he's only 6 foot. So again, you don't have that size.
Well, I think John Smanson, you have the size, but with Montour, you have more of the skill.
Right.
Either or would be fine, but you're going to have to attach Zaitsev cap-wise and just roster size.
That's why I believe Brett Pesce is a guy that this team should go after, and we've heard quite a few rumblings about the Leafs being interested in a guy like him, and obviously scouting out that game of the Rangers and the Hurricanes. They would not surprise me if they were glued on Brett Pesce.
If you can somehow package in Ferland, well, then again,
that's a big deal.
Ferland did say that he wanted Evander Kane money, which is $7 million.
Which is a joke.
He's good, but he's not Evander Kane good.
$7 million, no.
Well, I was gonna say I don't know if I take this, but I was gonna say if you can package Ferland and Pesce for again either Janssen, Kapanen, and a Zaitsev, I mean I don't think that'd go through, but who knows? But yeah, like you say, we need size up front, obviously, because
Chris Kreider, a guy like that.
Yeah. Who was it that hit Kadri? It was Vince Dunn in the last game that hit Kadri.
In the knee? Or no, that was Janssen in the other game.
No one did anything about it.
No. And that's the part that's really frustrating me. The thing that I go back to, I forget what game it was now. Patrick Marleau got crushed in the corner.
Oh, yeah, I remember you telling me this.
And he steps up for himself. The 39-year-old has to step up for himself?
It's not right. Even if the player we get isn't on the ice at that time, you know next shift he's going to be out there fighting the guy.
You got to find a way to be under his skin. Great example. Nick Ritchie. Now, again, it was a very stupid... I was at the Anaheim game, so I watched this happen. It was so stupid, but... The way, I like what he did. It was just not very smart the way he did it.
If you can't
Jake Muzzin crushed Corey Perry, and we're all like, yeah, big hit there. And Getzlaf went at Jake Muzzin, started talking. And then next play, Richie He's cross-checking Jake Muzzin, stepping up for his guy. Now, ideally, he takes a stupid penalty, and that leads to the Jake Muzzin goal.
Don't cross-check him. Just be a pain in his rear end. Like, do what Kadri does, but to a new level, and be kind of tougher. Because Kadri's a pain in your rear end, but he can't really fight per se.
No.
We want a guy that can fight and can put up points, right?
Well, it's not easy to find nowadays, but
that's why I'm saying it's a premium for these guys. But I think a Chris Kreider would be awesome for this team. And there's been rumblings of the Leafs interested in Kyle Clifford and Adam McQuaid.
No thanks.
More
Clifford?
No, I would say more McQuaid than Clifford. I mean, if he would have faced Boston, you'd be facing his former team. I don't know if that's more fire under his belt, but
it could be.
But then again, who would you take out for if you got Adam McQuaid? He's not more skillful than any of the guys we have in the lineup, right?
He's only got 5 points. He's got penalty minutes. He only has 31 penalty minutes, so he hasn't fought a whole lot this year, it looks like.
Quite shocked. But I don't know.
He's 32 years old. He is 6'4", 210.
He would have to give up,
guy,
what,
right?
a 6 for him?
Yeah, nothing too crazy.
Maybe just for assurance.
Would you be interested?
No, not Brendan's. Oh, Mark Stahl's contract though.
How I mean,
it's bad. Sure, if he was at maybe 3 mil or 4 mil, sure, but it's probably at like 5.
I don't know. I think we both can agree that this team needs a forward with some size to him that can put the puck in the net. Like, this is why I miss a guy like JVR. However, he didn't really use his size a whole lot. But a guy of that type of feel.
I can't remember the last time we had a guy who was tough, used his size a lot, and put up points. I can't remember. What? No, Clark? Wendell Clark?
That's way back there now. I mean,
that's
Darcy
like in the 90s.
Because he used to be a physical guy, but he could also put the puck in the net.
I wouldn't really say Ty Domi because he wasn't that skilled. No. But yeah, Darcy Tucker. Clark. I mean, get somebody that won't push the Leafs around because you know the Bruins are going to push the Leafs around again.
They did it last year. What really have the Leafs improved? Well, they got Jake Muzzin. That's one guy.
Yeah, but we lost Matt Martin.
Yeah. Well, he didn't even play in the playoffs, did he?
I don't know if he did or not. Actually, yeah, I don't think he did either. But we lost a lot of size. We lost JVR. I mean, he didn't really use the size, but he was a big guy out there.
You lost the little toughness of Leo Komarov, right?
And he was a major factor in that series, getting under people's skin. That's what I think we need, or a defenseman. I wouldn't be surprised both.
I would love a Brett Pesce and a Chris Kreider. That would be... Oh, that'd be beautiful.
Yeah, but then again, we don't know if we're going to give up any more prospects. We're definitely not going to give up our first for next year. Dubas has said that.
Look, the reason why I'd be okay with giving up prospects is because Brett Pesce is here to stay.
Chris Kreider, probably not, but we're going to have him next year.
Is he back next year?
Yeah. He will be back next year. Same thing like Muzzin, but we don't know if we're going to re-sign him. This team's ready to win now, and I think we both agree on that. So getting a guy that's here for this playoff run, and next year, all of next year and next year's playoff run too, hell yeah.
I couldn't agree more. This is really weird. We've talked on the podcast and we have not mentioned Mitch Marner's contract negotiation thing at all. No, there hasn't been any rumblings whatsoever, but it's weird that we haven't mentioned it at all. Mitch Marner, his contract dispute or whatever.
Well, I don't think we should really mention that because the trade deadline's looming, and I think everyone's calmed down on that bit. I don't think it's going to get done in the season. It's off season, but he's definitely going to be a Leaf by the time training camp hits in September, 100%.
Now, couple big games for the Leafs coming up. Obviously, tonight against the Washington Capitals at Scotiabank Arena, the Leafs coming off their 6-game road swing. Back at home now, the Washington Capitals have been playing well lately. They were playing really bad before the All-Star break when the Leafs saw them last, but now they're playing better, so it's going to be a tough one. Braden Holtby and Anderson are the expected starters tonight. And Saturday, Leafs at home, taking on the Habs. And I think if they win this game, they will have won the season series.
No.
They've won 2.
If they would have won this game, then they would. I think it's 8 straight versus the Habs.
Is that it? Yeah. They won them all last year.
It's funny because before we won 8 straight, I think we lost like 13 straight.
Yeah, because they were so bad last year, and we were so bad for many years before. But big game there on Saturday night. Yeah. Obviously, the Habs are the team chasing the Leafs right now. The Leafs did get a little separation. However, it's only 5 points. And that can evaporate quickly.
Oh, yeah.
You saw with the Bruins. The Leafs had a 3-point lead with a couple games in hand. They still have a couple games in hand, but they're 4 points back. The Bruins have now won 7 straight games and haven't lost in regulation in their last 11, 12 games.
It's going to be tight. That's definitely for sure. let's go around the league here because, like I said, trade deadline is in a couple days.
Do you want to talk about Carl Hagelin just being traded to the Capitals for
Yeah.
2 draft picks just now, like an hour ago?
Yeah, we could. I was going to get into the Matt Duchene because that's a bit bigger than Carl Hagelin.
This just happened an hour ago, so let's just fire it in there real quick.
I mean, it's good for LA. They're getting someone with a guy who is...
Washington, you mean?
No, but that's a good trade for LA that they're
getting a guy.
Oh, no, sorry. I'm coming from a guy who's not going to stay.
Right. There you go, yeah.
So Matt Duchene looks like he spent his last game in Ottawa. They're sitting him because they don't want him to get injured before the trade deadline, and that's smart. Man, the Ottawa Senators,
they're in shambles, that team.
They are, but they're selling high on Matt Duchene, who obviously does not want to stay in Ottawa. I don't blame him. And they can get back a pretty penny for him.
Look, I'm sorry. You don't like Edmonton, and you love going on rants about the Oilers. But can I just say something about the terrible organization that the Ottawa Senators are?
Go ahead.
You see what happened with Karlsson and Hoffman and all that spiel that happened last year. And all the thought was, will Karlsson stay? Will he sign a contract? Well, they traded Hoffman in the offseason, got nothing back for him. And then you trade Karlsson. And who they get back for Karlsson? Dylan DeMello?
DeMello, they got a first. They got a couple prospects. But it wasn't...
It's for one of the best defensemen in the game.
It wasn't great.
And let's flash back here to last year. Oh, let's trade. Let's get Matt Duchene from Colorado. What are you gonna give them? A first-round pick? Where's Ottawa in the standings? Dead last.
Yeah.
And Matt Duchene is probably going to be leaving the Senators.
But he is. But that's why the Senators, this is the smartest move they've done in the past one or 2 years.
It's blatantly obvious. You have to do this.
Well, yeah. Now,
you don't make that trade. And Matt Duchene, if Matt Duchene is an Ottawa Senator, post All-Star or post trade deadline, it's a failure. Well, it's ridiculous to see.
And if he walks, because if
he
he's
will
an
walk, I don't see them re-signing Matt Duchene.
I mean, crazier things have happened, but like you said, I don't think he'll stay. So I think it's a good move by Ottawa that they're gonna sell extremely high on a guy who's over a point per game. They could have gotten more for Stone than Duchene, but Stone is the face of this franchise. He was drafted by them back in 2010, I think. So, smart move. I would have kept Stone and traded Duchene personally. That's me. So, I think Ottawa's doing right there.
The only positive thing about this year's Senators, and you can't say that they're last because they don't even have a damn draft pick, is Thomas Chabot. That is the only guy on that team that I look at and I'm like, he's young. He's a big defenseman.
And Brady Tkachuk.
Yeah, okay. You could say.
Well, yeah, Thomas Chabot, because nobody expected, hey.
You knew he was going to be good, but you didn't expect this.
Well, look at our fantasy draft. No one drafted him, and I picked him up in free agency, and he's been unbelievable for me, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because he was such a surprise. So I'm happy for Ottawa in that sense, but I kind of feel bad for the... I mean, they put themselves in this situation, I'm not going to lie, but I don't want any... Because...
Who did they trade to Colorado? Or sorry, like it wasn't just Matt Duchene for a first.
It was a 3-way trade because they traded Kyle Turris.
Yeah, why did that trade need to happen?
But Kyle Turris isn't anything on Nashville.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. He was incredible for Ottawa. He was a huge part of their playoff run.
Actually, I look at Ottawa and I look at the Nashville Predators, and I think Duchene would be beauty in Nashville, and I think a guy like Kevin Fiala could be going back the other way.
I don't know I don't know if there's been any rumblings about that. But the thing is, like with Ottawa, you've heard, they're trying to try and trade him or they're going to try and sign him, but you haven't heard any team saying, yep, there's a deal in place, or we haven't heard anything even remotely close.
Yesterday about Stone, they said that the team has offered him a contract, so him and his agent have to decide if they want to accept it or not.
Right.
I'm expecting him to get 8.5 for Mark Stone. What do you think?
It's got to be something like that, but he's a great player.
Maybe 8 mil. Maybe I'm going
wouldn't even surprise me if he's asking for 9 or 10 because of the team that it is.
Exactly.
And he's, I mean, this is where Ottawa's in that shambles part of like these guys. Mark Stone's not young. He's not a young guy. He's not like a 23-year-old wanting to get
28,
paid.
27, 28.
He wants money. He wants bank, and especially if the team's not going to be any good.
Exactly. Yeah. But I think the Ottawa Senators, they would be stupid not to, because listen. If they get rid of Duchene and Stone, who's the? I mean, sure, you have Thomas Chabot, you got Brady Tkachuk. Who else? I mean, that's it. This is the one guy you have to build around Ottawa.
Yep.
The one guy, and it sucks because you're not going to get Jack Hughes.
Nope.
You're not going to get Jack Hughes. And Colorado's not doing well at all. Imagine if they get the first and second overall picks.
That's, oh my God.
And plus, even if, because they could have swapped this pick last year, but Worst case scenario, Ottawa gets 4th overall. Well, who did they draft 4th overall last year? Brady Tkachuk.
Right.
But that's the worst case scenario. They would draft 4th overall this year.
Yep. But they don't even have a pick.
No. But I'm saying like their pick would be Colorado. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they should have swapped the pick.
It baffles me. It really baffles me. All of the trades that they made. I just. Because you go back to that deal, and right when the deal occurred, I was like, what the hell is Ottawa thinking? Kyle Turris obviously brought them to the conference finals.
We didn't know how bad Ottawa was. Like, personally,
No,
I was shocked Ottawa was that bad last year with Duchesne. I was shocked.
Agreed, but you think about the way they were with Kyle Turris. He was incredible for that team. He was around a point per game. And not only did you trade Kyle Turris away for Duchesne, you traded away your first-round pick.
But if you look at it, they swapped Duchesne for Turris. If you look at that, like, player-wise, sure, they got rid of their first.
Fine. But
how would they get worse? That's my question. I don't understand it. Maybe injury?
I don't either. Well, you lost Carlson, too, but... Or you're talking about last year?
Last year when they were in shambles.
Chemistry. You just lost your number one center and a guy that everyone loved.
And Duchesne's playing great this year, so I don't know. And let's go to Columbus just for a little bit because we're kind of short of time here. Bobrovsky and Panarin look like they could be going to Florida in the offseason. I think they got to move one of these guys. I think they have to move Bobrovsky.
That team is in probably one of the worst. Well, I wouldn't say that.
Best and worst because
either way, you're gonna not have these guys next year.
But either way, you're looking at getting a boatload of prospects, maybe picks.
They're both rental players. You're not going to get a boatload of any.
Teams will pay a boatload for these guys to go on a long playoff run. You're telling me
Panarin, yes. I'm not so sure about Bobrovsky.
True. I'm not sure about Bobrovsky either, but definitely Panarin 100%. Listen, let's just say that Panarin got traded to Florida. Florida would have to give up Huberdeau and maybe even Owen Tippett.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I just a prospect and a guy, because we can both agree that Huberdeau isn't as good as Panarin.
Right.
Huberdeau's good, but not as good. So, and a team like Florida, I don't know why the Florida Panthers would do that, because they're not making the playoffs this year.
No, they're not.
And I think that they could sign him in the offseason. Why would you give up someone who was signed to a sweetheart deal in Huberdeau?
And are teams really willing to make that massive of a trade at the trade deadline?
There's interest.
It reminds me of the Anthony Davis sweepstakes. You're not going to make a deal that big right at the deadline.
I don't think it's a team that wants to make a deal. I think it's Columbus trying to get something for guys that are going to leave.
There goes the trade value.
Yeah.
It's down a mile.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get a boatload of prospects for these guys.
You are going to get something, but
but not anything remotely close to their talent level.
Or if you're Columbus, you go for it.
And then lose them.
Yeah.
So then either way, you're screwed either way.
Well, or if you win the cup, it's worth it. But
they're not winning the cup. The Columbus ain't winning the cup. Sorry. Nope.
Can I quote that on you?
Yeah.
Say it into the microphone, clear
as day. The
Columbus
Blue Jackets will not win the Stanley Cup.
In
2019.
Okay. Right.
They will not do it.
If dude, June time comes around, could you imagine? You're going to eat your words.
I'm not going to imagine it because it's not going to happen.
Will you bet me a McDonald's hamburger?
That's fine. Easy. McDonald's hamburger, the Columbus Blue Jackets will not win the Stanley Cup. Okay. That is totally fine.
All right.
Because, look at the division they got to go through. They got to go through Washington. They got to go through Pittsburgh.
They're barely not in the playoffs.
The Islanders is not good. Oh, and they might not even make the playoffs.
I didn't even know there were 69 points.
They've been terrible.
Well, they haven't won a playoff series in their whole franchise history.
Carolina, look, we're talking about Brett Pesce and everything. They're 1 point out of a playoff spot. Are they going to move a guy like Pesce?
Well, they need scoring. That
is true. That is very true.
They need scoring, and they need somebody. Listen, if you put Zaitsev in the right position, like we did in his rookie campaign, he can score points. Right? So that's just...
Do you want to mention real quick that the Edmonton Oilers traded Cam Talbot to the Philadelphia Flyers for Anthony Stolarz?
Yeah, kind of a whatever trade for both teams. Obviously, Edmonton wanted to give up Talbot, and they got back a guy who's obviously kind of like an AHL type of player. This is Philly's 8th goalie of one season.
They're so bad.
This could be the resurrection of his career because he.
What about Carter Hart? Exactly.
Yeah, no,
right?
But you don't. True, but he's still so young. You won't want to throw him. The Flyers did throw him to the Wolves, but he's struggled of late.
Yeah.
But I think Cam Talbot is a perfect guy, right?
And look, Edmonton. Who's your number one goalie?
Koskinen, they just signed.
They're paying him to be.
Oh, wait, and we've heard about Justin Puljujarvi's probably not going to be an Edmonton Oiler by the time Monday.
What a waste of a draft pick.
Another one.
Yeah, it seems pretty repetitive when we talk about Edmonton Oilers and wasted draft picks.
And they just got back the GOAT himself, Sam Gagner.
Who cares?
Well,
he's a Toronto Marley, I guess.
No, Edmonton just got him.
He's a Toronto Marley, though, because remember he got loaned from...
long time Toronto Marley, yeah.
Yeah, long time, like half a season. But the Oilers are fourth last in the league. Look at the teams around them. You got Ottawa, rebuilding, not very well, but they're rebuilding. The Kings, obviously an old team trying to rebuild and get through. New Jersey had a weird run last year, but again, rebuilding team. You look at the teams above them, Detroit, rebuilding for sure. The Ducks, they suck, and they're more or less trying to shed some guys and get some younger talent. Those are the 5 teams surrounding the Edmonton Oilers who still have 1 million first-round picks in their roster.
And, yeah, true. And they're technically not wanting to be on a rebuild. Their owner said that we're looking to buy. Well, if you're looking to buy Edmonton, then we're looking for some of your first-round picks that didn't, obviously, you screwed them up, Edmonton, right? Look at Jesse Puljujarvi. Look at, Sam Gagner's long pass. But he was drafted by Edmonton, wasn't he? Sam Gagner.
I think so.
Was it Phoenix?
No, I think it was Edmonton. Where is he on Edmonton?
And look how he turned out. He was traded for longtime Oiler Ryan Spooner.
Yeah, long time, like 12 games or whatever it was. Probably something like that.
Yeah, just go to him. I mean, he was pretty good.
I'm pretty sure it was Edmonton. Yeah, first round, 6th overall.
That's a Leafs jersey.
No, I thought it was a Canucks jersey.
He wasn't on the Canucks this year.
He was.
We signed him.
No, but he was loaned by the Canucks to the Leafs.
No, you know what happened? I think we traded him for that Carconi guy too for Josh Levo. Right. So he was in that trade. Okay.
Right. I think so
that's a Canucks jersey.
Bottom line.
Thank God.
Bottom line, the Oilers have won 1 game in their last 10. They've lost 5 straight.
I see that.
They're terrible. Yeah. They're awful.
But they're looking to buy James.
And do what?
They're looking to buy.
And do what? I mean, yeah, if you look at the standings and you say, well, the Edmonton Oilers are only, 7 points out of a playoff spot. Well, that's nice, but you got to jump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams in the process. Edmonton. Well, how we don't envy you. Because although that one year when Oilers fans were like, oh, what's up? We're going to win the cup. And the year after, we got Connor McDavid. We're going to win the cup. And they were the favorites to win the cup that late.
Well, actually, they made it to the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, but the year after, they're like, wow, they're going to win the Stanley Cup this year. They're that good.
And then
they have missed the playoffs since then.
And then they've missed on a couple draft picks.
Okay, more than a couple. Over the years, they have more than a couple.
Well, speaking of buying, let's go to MLB and let's go to Manny Machado.
About damn time.
$300 million.
But can we say something? Spring training starts. Oh, excuse me. I'm angry. I'm angry. I was pretty close. It starts today. Yeah. Damn right.
But
Seattle plays Oakland at 3:00. I mean, who the heck cares? But
well, that's your biggest concern when it comes. It doesn't matter. Is Manny Machado? I understand he was going for the money. Great. You were the most paid player in American League sports history. Great.
$300 million. To whom? The San Diego Padres.
Are the San Diego Padres going to win a championship in 300 days?
They might not even make the playoffs.
In 300 years. So
feels like it.
He just went for the money. It's obvious. The San Diego Padres.
He's gonna be in San Diego, California. He's making $300 million. He's gonna be playing every day. Probably gonna be going to an All-Star game because who else do they got?
Sitting on the beaches. I mean,
why not?
I don't think there's any beaches in Baltimore. So
you know. Yeah,
there's just birds.
Tweet. But, I mean, if you're a team like the Philadelphia Phillies, right? And we've heard that the Phillies that are linked to Bryce Harper, and that's the team that's going after them. Your first spring training game is tomorrow.
Right. And
it's ridiculous.
I think that, in going to Bryce Harper, he just declined something similar, I think more from the Phillies. I don't think he wants to go to the Phillies. I think it's the Yankees.
It's just so stupid.
Yeah.
The way everything is going here.
Were you expecting him to sign with the Padres?
Actually, by the way, the Padres signed Aaron Loop to a 1-year deal. I just
your boy.
Here. Oh, Ben Revere.
Okay,
those are the good old days. I'm just looking through here because I thought I heard that something about Dallas Keuchel, but I'm not.
What?
I'm not too sure.
Oh,
that
being
he's-
traded?
No, that he signed a deal. He's a free agent. Yeah, you didn't even know it.
I didn't even know it.
Adam Jones, still a free agent.
But see, with Keuchel, he had 1 or 2 good years. Well,
He's still good. He's still good.
do you think the Jays would be in on him?
No, I don't think so. But it's just
Keuchel is still. I wouldn't want Adam
Harper.
Jones.
So the report 22 hours ago is Harper turned down multiple offers with more than $300 million. What does this guy want?
So, question.
I mean, my God.
If Manny Machado wanted to be the most paid player, you're going to lose on that in a couple days when Bryce Harper signed. So why would you go to a team that's not going to make the play? How were they last year?
The Padres? They're terrible.
Like they've been for the past 10 years.
Yeah, they're terrible.
What player is the best in league, franchise history for them? I don't even know.
Yeah.
No. Who? I'm asking you.
I don't know. I mean, my God.
And this is a guy that
Solarte was good when he was there.
Yeah, but I mean,
he just got signed to a minor league deal by the Giants. So I mean, there's nothing really going on with him.
This is an expansion team, right?
The Padres?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. They're that irrelevant. Other than Will Myers in the All-Star game a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Who the hell's on their team?
So this guy might be the best franchise guy they've ever had.
Like, let me go to the San Diego Padres real quick, because I want to have a look at what this team's all about, or not about.
So they're still in the AL, right? They're
They're in the NL, so we don't have to see Machado, which is good. But like San Diego Padres. All right, who do they got here? I'm going to stop when I see a name that I know other than Aaron Loop, who I see here now.
And not for good reasons.
Luis Perdomo, I mean, he's a guy that I've seen before. Garrett Richards, yeah, well, he's having elbow surgery, so good night. Let's go down here. Anybody else? Eric Hosmer, right? Huge free agent signing last year. Didn't work out. Ian Kinsler, guy who's like, 40 now? 36. Will Myers, yeah, okay. Travis Jankowski, he's nothing special. Okay, all right. So there's the roster for the San Diego Padres.
So there you go.
And Manny Machado, of course. But
so if they win the World Series, then you're getting me a gift card of some sort.
Yeah, I'll buy you an iTunes card or something.
There you go.
Even though it's like 2010 and an iTunes card. Yeah, I'll buy you an iTunes card.
Say it.
I'll buy you an iTunes card if the San Diego Padres win the World Series, because it's not going to happen.
2020, I guess. What?
No, 2019. This year. It's not happening.
Oh, yeah.
It's not happening. But you look at the free agents still available. And I'm going to go through the top 10. That was posted 3 days ago. Yeah. So obviously there's a few. Obviously the Manny Machado signing, well, that's done. Bryce Harper, still nowhere. All right, Michael Brantley and Josh Donaldson, yeah, fine. Yasmani Grandal, fine. Okay, maybe most of these guys have signed. Marwin Gonzalez, who is a fantastic player for the Astros.
Yeah.
Nowhere. Where else we got here? Yeah, so all these deals are 1-year deals that happened like a week ago.
But this isn't anything new for MLB. They've been doing this for a while, right?
It hasn't been this bad. It really hasn't been this bad for so long.
Yeah, it's
and
more
Dallas
money than
Keuchel's still a
everything.
free agent, like I said.
How old's Dallas Keuchel?
He's what, 30, maybe? No, I don't know. I don't even think he's 30. He's 31.
Okay. Oh, he's that old?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was younger than that. Well, I guess with that beard, he must be pretty old.
Gio Gonzalez, free agent. Very good lefty. Irvin Santana had a terrible year last year, but he only played 24 innings. But he's a great pitcher, free agent. Craig flippin' Kimbrell, the closer for the Boston Red Sox, had an ERA of 2 last year.
Still not signed.
An unbelievable pitcher, not signed. Like, it's so stupid watching this all happen.
But they're doing it to themselves.
Well, ideally they are. They are really just hurting themselves. But can we flip to the Jays real quick here?
Yeah,
I mean, look, we are talking about Manny Machado and everything. And spring training for the Blue Jays kicks off on Saturday, and there are a ton
Who are we facing?
Detroit, I think it is. Detroit Tigers on Saturday, the 22nd?
So,
Third.
Spring training, it has to be, what, maybe a month?
It's about a month. Yeah, at the end of March they start up the season if it's like last year. But the way I look at the spring training, and I said in my video, look, I'm not looking at spring training for a guy like Justin Smoke.
No.
Because no matter what he can hit 4 home runs and hit 500 and have a great spring. You know what he's going to give you in the season. You know. I'm more excited to see Vladdy Jr. and guys that.
But you kind of know what he's going to give you, but we don't know if he's going to struggle. Last year was he he wasn't on the spring training roster last year, was he?
He was near the end, and he played in the Montreal game and hit a walk-off in Montreal, which was the crazy
Because his
moment.
father was...
His dad played for the Expos, and he had a walk-off home run in a 1-0 game with 2 out. I mean, it was storybook type of stuff.
Yeah, well,
And I'm more excited to see some other guys. Like I can go through the list. Like there's a few guys here on the roster that I'm jacked up to see.
Yeah.
Guy like Yenzi Diaz, a guy that's 22 years old. He'll probably be playing in Double-A, but the second half he put together last year was remarkable. He was their opening night starter in playoff time. I can't, like, he's a great-looking young player. Elvis Luciano, that guy is interesting because he's 19. However, he was a Rule 5 draft pick. Now, what that means is that if I'm not mistaken, if I'm 100% sure on the whole Rule 5 situation, they have to be on your roster the entire year, or they go back to the other team. Look,
What
Joe
team was he
Biagini
on?
was a great example. He was a Rule 5 pick for the Jays. He played the entire year as the reliever, was great, and now he's with the team.
So he has to be on the roster. He doesn't have to play.
Well, I mean, yeah, but then you're wasting a roster spot for nothing, right? I mean,
yeah.
So that's what happened. I think it was a couple of years ago. The Jays had Glenn Sparkman. I don't know why I remember the name. He didn't play for the team at all last year. That year. So
bottom line is, are you looking to add anybody else from free agency, or are you looking to bring up? Okay, okay.
I'm okay with the team we got now.
All right,
because
keep going on.
I want to see the younger players. Luciano's 19, and if my mind is correct, he's 19 and going to be on the big club this year.
What? Really? What team was he on?
Kansas City, but he had not even pitched an A-ball yet. So this is why I'm really intrigued to see.
So if he hasn't faced an A-ball, why would you want to?
He was in a Rule 5. He was a young player, young pitcher. You want to see what he can do.
Yeah. Especially this team needs pitching too.
And I don't know what he's going to be. That's what spring training's all about. Seeing a guy like this guy. Julian Merriweather. Josh Donaldson trade. 1-for-1.
He was hurt all last year,
Tommy John
though.
surgery. It's an injury that you can come back from and be terrible. So I don't know what we're going to see.
Yeah.
But that's what spring training's for. Patrick Murphy, a guy who was really good in Dunedin last year with Yenzi Diaz. I thought he was really impressive. Mm-hmm. He'll probably be playing in New Hampshire this year. Again, don't know what we're going to see from in spring training.
Yeah.
Ideally, it still doesn't mean anything, but you want to have a look at them. Hector Perez, main piece in the Roberto Osuna trade.
Right.
Last year. And we're going to keep going down here. Trent Thornton.
Yeah, just with the young guys, right?
Trent Thornton, Ledmus Diaz.
Okay.
Jacob Waguespack, Aaron Loop last year at the deadline.
I'm
just gonna. There's only a few more. Actually, I think that's it. There you go.
Yeah. So you're looking at maybe how many players would you say you wanted to make the team that was obviously in Dunedin, AAA, AA, whatnot. Like obviously Vadi is gonna make the team.
He won't out of camp because the Jays want him for that extra year, but they'll bring him up in May.
Or would you want to sign guys from free agency to a 1-year deal that could take spots?
The Jays did do that. They did bring in some guys to fill those roles exactly. I'm going to go through the names right here. There's only a few of them, really. Let me go through it here. Where are we? David Phelps, reliever, 1-year deal. Yeah. Clayton Richard, starting pitcher, 1-year deal. Matt Shoemaker, same thing, 1-year deal. Freddie Galvis, 1-year deal. By the way, former San Diego Padre. Just going to throw that out there. And
like that means anything.
And that's it. So they get a few guys that's going to fill some spots and fight for jobs in spring training. But the question arises, right? Will Ryan Baraki make the team out of camp? And with the acquisition of Richard and Matt Shoemaker,
so
look,
pretty
Stroman,
much, yeah.
Sanchez, Shoemaker, and Clayton Richard. Those are 4 of your 5 starters if those are your 5. Look, if Richard has a terrible spring training...
So you're basically looking at a veteran presence in those 3 guys or Jensen.
Or Ryan Bruckey?
Oh, yeah, sorry, Bruckey, yeah.
Yeah, or Sean Reid-Foley that we saw a little bit last year. He didn't have that great year, but I think he'll start in AAA. But you never know. He puts up a great spring. You wouldn't surprise me if he fights for that 5th spot. And so there's a lot of question marks going in. Who's going to be the 2 catchers? Is it going to be Jansen and McGuire, or is it going to be Luke Maley and Danny Jansen? I don't know. There's lots of questions going into this this spring training, and that's, I think, why it's exciting. In the past, you knew what the team was going to look like.
Yeah, because with this, you have so many players getting called up that's trying to make that transition. And guys, don't be discouraged if these players don't make it, because they're still young. They're still young enough that next year or sometime during the season they could be called up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, injuries, September call-ups, that kind of thing, right? You never know what those types of guys are going to give you.
Yeah.
And who knows? Yenzi Diaz, guy's probably going to be in Double-A this year. He could be in the big club if he has a great part of the season.
Exactly.
Right? You never know. By the way, Devin Travis, happy birthday, my man. 28th birthday there today for Devin Travis.
Is he going to be on the team?
I don't see it happening. This team has so many middle infielders, young middle infielders. I mean, I've always liked Devin Travis, but future-wise, I don't.
He's kind of like a Chris Colabello in the sense where he had maybe 1 or 2 good years, but the
funny thing was when he was good,
he was good.
It was those years he wasn't healthy. He had a great first month of the season, and the great 2 months of the season. Then he goes down with a season-ending injury. Last year was his first full year, and he didn't really have a great year. So I'm intrigued to see what he can do this year. But by the way, happy birthday, Devin Travis, and hoping he has a good year. Because if anything,
hopefully he makes the team too.
If anything, I think he'll make the team. I don't think there's any question about that. But the question will be, arise: Will he be a J by the deadline? Right? There's always that question mark. Yeah, we got a lot of questions here, more or less from the same guy who Mr. Anonymous does not want to be mentioned in the podcast.
But that's fine.
It's fine.
Gotta have him on once though.
Yeah. Whenever he comes on though, he usually has quite a bit to ask. Yeah. So,
this is
should we sign Stroman long-term similar to cheap deals Nola and Severino got? I think we want him now. It is the time to offer him it. I do believe you are correct.
Yes.
I agree.
You don't want to wait until he gets either good or elite, if he ever does.
The Jays even have a thought of signing him. He wants to be here. His comments at the spring training facility are more or less, I want to be here. I haven't got a contract yet. I haven't been offered.
But do the Jays want him? And I don't necessarily know if the Jays do want him, and I'm not surprised if the Jays don't want him. Simple as that. But true. I think if the Jays do wanted him, get him re-signed now. Agreed.
I agreed. Why aren't the Jays targeting? So this is the same guy. Why aren't the Jays targeting Harper since all he needs is money? If the Jays offer 10 years at $330 to $400 million, he will probably come. Probably, but
actually,
where are the Jays going to spend their money elsewhere? I mean, yeah, you throw all your money at Bryce Harper, but where are you going to put all your money? What about Vladdy Jr. when he needs a contract?
I think our payroll is maybe in the top. It's middle.
It's middle of the road, but I think it's like a little bit higher than the middle of the road.
So it's like 15 to 13.
Yeah, or even 12 or whatever, in that range somewhere. But no, I don't want to see Bryce Harper in a Jays jersey.
But hey,
if he's rejecting multiple offers over $300 million, what is he going to do for the Jays? Well, he's going to solidify himself as an outfielder, and he's going to hit you 40 home runs. That's nice.
But, I mean, really,
we all know his attitude. Yeah. And with the new Charlie Montoyo coach that we have, and the guy preaches, playing the right way, is Bryce Harper going to be that? Probably not.
Hey, so, would be opposed.
No thanks.
Okay.
No. I love Bryce Harper, but no. Thoughts on Manny Machado landing on the Padres? We already talked about that. Prediction for DeMar and Kawhi's stat line versus the Raptors tomorrow.
I'm going to say, all right, Kawhi Leonard, 25 points, 2 steals.
You're going really in depth here.
Yeah. Well, they said stat line.
Okay, well, don't go crazy. But give me points, assists, and rebounds.
All right, fine. Points, 25. Assists, I don't know.
Kawhi.
3.
Okay.
And rebounds, 7.
Okay. I think Kawhi's going to fire up 30 because he's had some time to rest, and he's going to come out flowing like crazy. I think he's going to give 8 rebounds, maybe even 9. And I think he'll give up about 4 or so. I think he's going to have a good game because he's going to get home. The emotion in the crowd is going to be there.
Okay.
And I think he'll just be able to flow. DeMar DeRozan.
DeMar DeRozan, he had his laugh against us when we were facing him in San Antonio. I'm going to say DeMar DeRozan, 14 points.
Wow, low. 14
points. I'm going to say 14 points. No rebound. Or 1 rebound.
I don't know about 1. I mean, he's probably going to have more than 1 rebound.
Fine.
He's averaging 6 a game. I don't think he's going to get 1.
No, he's going to get 1.
Okay.
And, assists. 6. So 14, 7, and 6.
14, 1, and 6.
1. Sorry, 1 and 6. Yeah.
I'm going to try and change your.
No.
I see what you're doing.
1.
I think he's going to get 20, but I don't think he's going to shoot a good percentage. Because I think he's going to chuck up a ton of shots, and I don't think it's going to work for him. I could be wrong.
Hey,
I think he's going to have 5 points and 5 rebounds and 5 assists. I think it's going to be an even stat line.
And I think the Raptors are going to win this one.
I think so too. I really do believe so. Where are we here? Roderick, what is the solution to the Maple Leafs' slow starts? Well, I mean,
Mike Babcock's stubbornness. That's a big thing.
For what? Like the stretch passes? Is that what we're talking about?
Well, it's a slow start.
It's not just the start, though. That happens the entire game. The slow starts. The Leafs played a great second and third period against the Blues. I don't know if they gave them 19-9 in shots and were down 2-0 after the first.
I don't know if you saw this, but Matthews only played 17 minutes in the Blues game. He didn't play for the first 4. He didn't play for the first 4 minutes. This guy needs to play more, and that's on Mike Babcock.
Yeah.
It's Mike Babcock going back to his old toys. It's Mike Babcock going back to Ron Hainsey's and Zach Hyman's and all that. It's get out of your comfort zone, Mike.
Yeah, and I just think it's the Leafs getting their feet moving. I mean, I think that's really when you talk about slow starts, it's the inability to make a clean pass and the inability to skate. And we've talked about how good of a skating team this Leafs team is, but it seems like they take forever to get going. They wait till the second and third period to get their legs back. Problem, you could be down 2-0 like you were in the Blues game.
But it's definitely not the players. I think it's the coach, though, because the players, okay, yeah, they're playing, but the coach is actually telling them what to do.
Okay, look. You can only tell them so much. You can't say, hey, Matthews, go play right there. Do this, do that, do this, do that. They don't do that. And when in a game, when you're thinking so fast, the players react. Yeah. They don't do exactly what the coach says.
I just think that Mike Babcock needs to change up his strategy a little bit.
I do agree with that. But I don't think you can solely put this on Babcock. Yeah. The player's going to start on time, too.
Yeah.
And that's been a problem. Thanks, Roderick. Chatterbox Reviews. How bad is the freezing rain for you guys? And do you think AD ends up on the Lakers by the start of next year? First part of your question. Right now it's
been
not
pretty
rain,
nice actually for the last week or so.
But over the last, we did have some freezing rain, and it was pretty rough.
I think it was the snow that was brutal for the last what?
Well, no, last week there was some freezing rain. I remember shoveling it, and the side of my house was ice.
Wherever you walk, it's icy.
Yeah,
and driving, it's a bitch too.
I think that's why. Yeah. I mean, I think it was pretty bad there, bud. It was pretty bad. And do I think he'll end up on the Lakers?
Yeah.
No.
What team do you think he's going to end up on?
I don't know, but it's not going to be the Lakers.
I think it's going to be the Lakers. We said that about LeBron.
We say that every year.
I know, but this
LeBron going to LA was already set in stone midway through last year.
I didn't think LeBron was going to go to LA.
We've heard that. Come on, you're telling me that?
Okay, so what team
then? If he goes to Boston, he's just going to leave to go to LA?
What team? He's not going to go. I don't know if he's going to get traded. Well, maybe. But what team do you think he's going to be on then?
Would not surprise me if it's Boston. It really wouldn't surprise me. They have the assets to make the move.
I'm going to say LA though, just because. All right, we got Mr. Anonymous again.
Do you think if Pelicans re-signed Cousins and Rondo that AD would stay? I think the main reason AD wants to leave
I agree with that.
I would not surprise me in the slightest if that's the case.
Not really Rondo, more Boogie, because Drew Holiday came out and said, well, he was the reason why I stayed with the Pelicans, Anthony Davis. So there you go. So and I think Anthony Davis, he was the sole franchise player for so long. Then they got Boogie, and they worked well together. Boogie got injured. He left. And Anthony Davis is like, well, why would I carry this team by myself again? Yeah,
and they bring in Nikola Mirotic and
yeah, I'm not saying the Pelicans organization didn't give him anything to work with, but I think
and and look, from the start of his career he has not been able to stay on the court.
Yeah, stay healthy. Yeah.
So I mean, we can all talk about the Pelicans being a terrible organization. We can talk about them making terrible moves and not having these guys around him and not signing Cousins and all. I mean, come on.
But I don't think it's really that much of the organization's fault at all.
No, it's not.
I don't think so.
No. Look, Drew Holiday for Nerlens Noel, you look back at the deal now, and my God, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
But look, and then obviously the Cousins trade, I forgot even what that was.
It was Healed and I think a first or something.
Buddy Hield's pretty damn good.
Yeah, but they were going for it. I mean, they got him on an expiring deal, which does suck.
And then he signs with the Warriors for 1 year at some $5 million. So stupid.
I think that he would have stayed if Boogie and Rondo would have stayed. More Boogie, obviously.
I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think because then you throw on Drew Holiday, the type of year he's putting together, and that those three are damn good together.
So,
but I mean,
who knows?
And the emergence of Etuan Moore and all those guys, they look. I don't.
Yeah. Well, who knows? But anyways, thank you guys for listening to episode 7 of the TO Sports Talk podcast, season 2. We will be back
next week.
Next week sometime. We got to discuss it. But we will definitely not be going ghost on you again, right? And I guess you're going to be talking to them this...
This right now is when things start to get real frisky on the channel, because I mean the Jays are starting up spring training, so every week there's going to be a video up about the week's games, and obviously the Leafs and the Raptors are revving up for playoff time, so it's going to be from now till it could even be June. It's going to be one heck of a time.
So your laptop's going to be on 24/7.
Love it. Absolutely.
You're going to be leaving your room. You're going to have to switch jerseys and all that all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you already do.
I mean, I don't know if I'm going to find time to shower, but I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Christ, I would hate to smell that jersey.
If you can smell me through your computer, there's something wrong.
No, that's why I'm sitting far away from him right now on the pod in his room.
Well, it
folks.
hasn't started yet, so I'm smelling pretty nice right now. But, thank you guys so much for your support every single week for the podcast, and I will talk to you guys tonight, Leafs edition, as they welcome in the Washington Capitals Scotiabank Arena, looking to end their mini 2-game losing streak. Even though they got a point against the Blues, they look to end that 2-game losing streak and start their new streak of their own. As they're home now, thank goodness. It felt like forever since they've played a home game. And I'll talk to you guys Raptors edition tomorrow, as they welcome DeMar DeRozan back, and that's going to be one heck of a game. I can't wait to watch that one. And Evan and I will talk to you guys sometime next week, podcast edition. Season 2, episode 8 will be next week. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll talk to you guys then.
Peace.